In this video, we're going to take a look at the Timmee Star Attack Battle Station. We're going to go over why I bought it, put one together, and then we'll have fun play testing it. The Cobra Terrordrome is definitely the iconic base of Cobra. It's an awesome play set. It's got all these great features. It's always kind of reminded me of a castle, the way it's round like that with walls and cannons and almost like towers around it. And I've never bought one just because of the size, and I've built my own little Cobra bases over the years. But I've always kind of wanted the real Terrordrome, that real fortress. And then I saw this, and I was like, wow, that looks like a Terrordrome. But it's actually the Timmee Star Attack Battle Station. And it's made for 3 3/4 inch size or 1/18 scale figures. And you can buy it as that large set with 4 pieces that make a full circle, or you can just buy one of the, I guess a quarter of it. And that's what I decided to do. I thought that would be a great compromise between that sort of castle fortress look that the Terrordrome has, but also the size, because it would be easier to store that little piece. So I ordered my section of the Space Attack base, and it was $125 with free shipping, and it came pretty quickly. One thing was missing from the box when I got it, and this was the Wednesday right before Christmas, and I emailed them, and Jeff got right back to me and told me I'd have the piece by Friday, and I got it Friday, so awesome customer service. But let's jump into putting this together. So the directions are pretty easy. It's pretty simple. The plastic is not like hard or like brittle in any way. It's like a very flexible kind of soft plastic. And you get the instruction manual. You get a bunch of stickers, which I'm probably not going to use the stickers because they're kind of, I don't know, like silly looking. They don't look realistic enough for my taste. But, and I'd put Cobra stickers on them anyway. And then some of the guns and cannons, those are made of like a harder plastic. And you could see that, they're on sprues there. You can see it's not a lot of pieces. Most of the pieces are pretty large. And, it's mainly that like big section of wall, the 2 towers, and then the door, which I ended up getting a couple days later. And then some of the smaller pieces. But some of those I even decided to leave off. One thing of note is the door is a little too low to let a hiss drive into it. So I tried propping it up on these little wooden blocks my kids play with. And they're pretty awesome for just all around building and setting up bases or anything. But the width of those was perfect for, for raising up the tower. I'd say it's maybe like an inch, so it's an inch too short. So I've thought of maybe like fabricating some kind of ring or something I could put around there. But to me, the big thing was like, I wanted a hiss to be able to go in there. And I mean, a hiss tank can't drive into a Terrordrome. So this is pretty cool that it can go in and out of there. Here I'm putting together the little kind of blaster guns that go around the edge of the wall. And they kind of look like a 50 caliber gun, something like that. And they're pretty cool. They I guess, articulate. They can, rotate and then pivot up and down. So that's kind of neat. And I think they're definitely like usable with Cobra. The set also comes with these larger cannon, like kind of rocket launcher, missile launchers that go in the towers. And they're pretty neat, pretty cool looking. It looks like, I think I read somewhere that they disabled the launching mechanism on these. The original one that came out in the 90s, you could launch the rockets. But these ones, they don't launch. But it looked like the whole mechanism was there. So it just had sort of like a tab or something inhibiting it from working. But when I was a kid, it was all about the shooting missiles and the action robot punches. So we'll see. I might end up modifying that. The next part is just these big wall sections that are kind of like the secondary backup wall. And they're just, just kind of planes that are curved, and they just pop into these slots in the base. The left wall went in no problem. That just like slid in. I had to pop it in. But then on this wall, when I tried to get it in, the first tab popped in, but I could not get that second tab into it. I wrestled. I was pushing, pulling, trying to jam it in there. You can see I'm really like putting some strength into it. And this is strong plastic, so I'm not worried about breaking it. I tried a screwdriver, and then I'm like, okay, let me get the heat gun. As recommended by Timmee, this is what they tell you to do, to just warm it up. And, it worked like a charm. Yeah, I was just being lazy, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to get my heat gun. But it just warmed up the plastic. It pushed right in, and then when it cooled off, it just was like seated perfectly and, felt like there was no way you were going to get that out. The towers don't really connect. They just kind of slip in and then you rotate them, but they're not really like fixed into the base, which is kind of cool. Like they stay in place, but if you move around the rest of the wall or the rest of the star base, they'll kind of pop out really easily. But that seems fine. One thing I didn't add to mine were these like little observation posts. I guess like a trooper can hang out in there and, battle from there, but there's no way he's getting out of there like during battle unless he like climbs up the wall himself. And it also seemed like, the enemy could just jump in there and attack him. So I kind of left them off. I thought they were a little silly. But the next piece is this cool kind of central turret, which uses one of those rocket launchers. And what's nice is the figure can sit there and control the turret. It's maybe a little far reach for the seated figure to actually look like they're manipulating the rocket launcher, but I might add something to modify that to add handles. Then there's an awesome like jail cell kind of floor that could be really cool for like setting traps or having your enemies like walk over it and fall in, or just throwing guys down into the dungeon. Sort of reminded me of a Rancor pit kind of thing. And then there's some doors that go on. This one's supposed to be a like a computer or something like that, but it could just be a secret door, maybe to get to Cobra Commander's chambers. And then there's this kind of thing, I think they call it like a laser gate that like shoots up. It looked like a kind of fun feature, like maybe when the enemy's coming by, if you don't have the right security code, it pops up and zaps them or stabs them. And then this is how the rocket launchers just plug into the tower, and the walls around the tower are great height for the GI Joe 4-inch, 3 3/4 inch figures, to man those. The floor inside the tower though is a little bit too low. I thought that was unfortunate. Like if it's just an inch higher, they would have been able to look out those windows and kind of have their rifles kind of hanging out the windows, and that would have been a little bit better. But again, I think I can modify those to just put something in there, some foam core or something to add height to the floor, and then the little 50 cals just kind of go right on the wall and you're all done. So now let's set this up like a proper Cobra base and see how it looks. Just a quick note before setting this up, that's how the door works if you want to use that. That's a pretty cool feature. And here it is next to the G.I. Joe base. You can see the G.I. Joe base feels a little bit more, I don't know, it's like deeper, I guess, but it's not nearly as tall. This thing's a lot taller. It just doesn't go as far back. But it's pretty comparable in mass. So here's how I set it up with the blocks underneath. And then this is it with a bunch of guys put onto it. So I love the idea of this being sort of a castle type wall that blocks, sort of a valley, or it's, placed between two mountains. I always thought that was like a cool way to set up castles. And I always set up, battles like that when I was a kid. And what's nice is it lets you kind of like use all the space behind it to make the base as big as you want and kind of spread it out. One thing with the Terrordrome that I was never a fan of was that you didn't have like sort of real internal space, kind of like opened out. It didn't feel like you could really have it like fight that way. But you can see here I've got two HISS tanks rolling out to battle. Got different troops on the walls and parapets, ready to, repel any attacks. In the back, got some Rattler maintenance going on, and setting up a little area with the dreadnoughts. So some of those areas underneath the walls you could even use as a garage. And I was thinking of, putting the Thunder Machine could like roll in there and you could like set that up, or different vehicles. And then the different parts of the towers and these stairs and walkways back here are really cool for different things. Uh-oh, looks like Scoop and Hit and Run are spying on this new base. They're getting some intel on this new Cobra base. And looks like Mainframe is uploading the video back to G.I. Joe, but they've been spotted. They better get out of there. Overall, I think this is an awesome playset. I mean, I don't have a Terrordrome, so I like it even that much more. But even if you have a Terrordrome, I think this could work well with it. I mean, you could even try painting it and like trying to get it to match up better. But it's also like super durable. I play around with this with my youngest, and I don't have to worry about like leaving it in the playroom and him bashing on it. And it's just made of that really strong plastic. So I'm really digging it. Really glad I got it. I wasn't sure about the scale, but really happy with that. And so happy I ended up getting that. So hope you liked this video. Hope it showed you something you're interested in, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Yo, Joe.